YouTube. Ed Boy Welding here, first actual project video. I thought I'd kick it off with a really relaxed build. I just got a 14 gauge steel lockbox here. I think it's pretty heavy. I just decided I'd kick it off with something, not very exciting, but sort of still testing the waters with my editing and my building and recording. But I think I'm getting better, and I got a lot of other projects coming down the pipeline. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. First off, we're going to cut off all of our material. I got a square tube here. Check this out. Going to be making this out of square tube and 14 gauge. So we're going to cut out all of those materials and get started putting it together. Alright, now that we actually got our pieces cut out and cleaned up, we're going to be making two symmetrical angles just like this to form the base of the lockbox, and everything else will come after. Yeah, I'm going to get started welding these together now. Now see, this method right here is something called tacking, and you'll hear that used in a bunch of different ways, but what it basically means is just putting very small welds at points of stress to just hold the shape together while you do measuring, cutting, any other sort of measuring you need to do before you put on a full weld. Alright, so now that we got these symmetrical pieces welded, I got a little crappy sketch here. My next plan is to make the verticals, which with my leftover bar, that's going to be about 3 3/4 inches each. So that should come out to, I should maybe have 0.25 extra. That doesn't matter. But I'm going to make the verticals now, and by the time I see you next, I will be putting on the first sheet metal piece. Now that I've got all 5 of my pieces cut out and I've got them welded onto the frame, well, except for this last guy here, I have ground the surface flat. I'm ready to put this last one on, and after this we'll move to making the hinge and the door and the lock. So as of right now, we're about to have done most of the box. Now this thing is made of 14 gauge, so I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's got to be almost bulletproof right there. Actually, brainlet, the minimum requirement for a bulletproof piece of steel is 1/4 inch. Nice try, pal. So anyway, here we go. So usually before I start a weld and I want to make sure that it's clean, I will, there's none right now, but usually when you make a weld, you get a little bit of contaminated wire here, and usually I just
snip that right off. Most people just keep welding, but what that does is it leaves potential for splatter and a very dirty weld. So I like to cut that tip off every time. It wastes a little bit of wire, but the amount is negligible, and I like the clean weld. Breathing protection.
Alright, here we are. I finished all of the stationary parts of our lockbox, and it's looking pretty good. I'm going to clean up the welds when I'm completely done, but I'm moving on to the next step and putting on the hinge. Now, I have here a prefabricated hinge from Potomac Steel. They make great parts, super great. I've been buying from them as long as I've been working with steel.
What's up, gamers? It's Future Editing Eddie. During the welding of the hinge, the light in my garage went bust, and it was late at night, but you know how it be, we never leave that grind. Yeah, just shut up and watch the next part.
This is a great time to talk about another concept that I completely missed. I was too excited. I was laying down these beads and I was like, yes, the hinge works. You know, it works great. But, you know, me being an idiot, I completely forgot that if you're too aggressive and you heat the metal too fast, it actually tends to warp. It's still a little bit hot, see what I'm talking about. But that right there actually used to sit flush, used to be flat, but because I was a little bit too aggressive with it, it warped, and I'm gonna have to take care of that on the bench vise. But that shouldn't take me too much longer. So now we have our MacGyvered hinge here. I'm going to take these two bolts and cut off the excess on either side, so it's just them. And in order to form our lock hinge, I'm going to weld these two to this plate. If you made it to this part of the video, that means a kid building a steel box on the internet was interesting enough for you to waste 8 to 9 minutes of your time, and I respect the hell out of that. But in all seriousness though, thank you so much for making it this far into the video. I really appreciate it. If you like what I'm doing here, drop a like. If you don't, drop a dislike. I won't take it personally. I'm just incredibly thankful for the feedback. Let me know what you want to see next. Please give me some more ideas. I've got a couple going down the pipeline right now, but eventually everybody runs out of ideas. Stay tuned for the next video. I'd give it an ETA of maybe 5 to 6 days, about a week. I gotta get some material together. But thanks for watching the video, and stay classy. Stay classy, what the f